Welcome back to the Forex Fortress, of which we are on Thursday right now, looking at all sorts of interesting things on all different time frames, on all different assets, and of course, checking out some Bitcoin action as well from this morning's analysis. Maybe even check out some Twitch marks here too. And with that said, we're also on Twitch currently hanging out. If you want to come and join on in, we are currently live. So with that said, let's get into it right now. Start off with good old Dixie. And what is Dixie doing? Dixie bouncing off of our very short-term area yesterday, as we did say, right around the 90 and a quarter level. That bounce beginning to move all the way up to 90 and almost 3/4, as you see right here. And then we said very likely continuation on top of that down to our next short-term target, or sorry, down to our next medium-term target, of which I do believe we're in the current progress for that, down to about 89 and 3/4, of which I do believe at 89 and 3/4 down to here, we are going to start to hit into some macro areas. So I would be looking for a bouncy bounce there, like a bigger bounce. So yesterday's bounce was obviously a short-term bounce. This one likely to produce a medium-term bounce, maybe even a long-term bounce, but I would give it some time. Probably gonna get some wicks lower as well, but I would be looking for closures, and more importantly for it to trade a little bit sideways, hang on to the lows, and then try a little bit of a bouncy bounce from there over the next few weeks. So with that in mind, short term down, and then medium, sort of maybe even long term, I would be looking for a bounce. And could that bounce turn into reversal? Potentially yes, but again, at the end of the day, do need to reflect upon the higher term timeframes here, of which the weekly death cross and also big straight structural break all the way back from 92 and a quarter, which set in the bias for lower price targets down below 90 cents, or sorry, 90, not 90 cents, but 90 bucks. Of which we're almost there right now. But looking at this right here, do I think that it's actually going to stop here long term? It's not looking very likely, to be honest with you. But at the very least, I would be looking for a medium-term bounce. So with that said, let's start it off by going down the list. And I imagine if everything that we've been looking at over the last week and a half is pretty much the same, which I imagine it probably is, it's probably gonna be a lot of upside. Just to preface this whole conversation. So let's go on to Aussie dollar. We were bullish on this one yesterday. Would I be bullish on this one today? I'd be bullish on this one today, putting an ascending triangle at the top side of long-term resistance. We can make a measure move off this. I think it might be a little bit too late for this, obviously, because it looks like a good portion of this one's already played out. In fact, yes, it has. So the first move of that has already gone. So too late, crown, too late. However, long-term, this would start to extend long-term targets all the way up towards about 77.5 cents. So I would keep a clairvoyant eye on that. However, in the short-term time frames, like the 4 hour, it looks like continuation. So, maybe an extremely short-term time frame pullback here, but ultimately I would be looking for continuation even on the short-term time frames. I remain bullish on the 4 hour. I remain bullish, I imagine, on the daily. Yep, daily's breakout as well. I remain bullish on the weekly here too, and that means just generally up. And let's see, is CAD dollar going to be anything different? Probably not, but we'll check it out anyways. Taking out last week's high is certainly not in any way, shape, or form bearish. We were bullish on this one yesterday. I'm gonna be bullish on this one again today. Long-term target all the way up towards 79 and a quarter cent, as we said. So still looking for that. Short term, I'd be looking for this one to just kind of stair step its way onwards and upwards. I'm sure that there's not even divergence really forming right here. This is hidden bullish divergence leading us out of this current consolidation, while momentum also has turned back up as well. I'd be looking for this one to be bullish on basically all time frames as well. 4 hour, daily looking good here too. Just eating up yesterday's move down to the 10 symbols we looked at, and continuation is the name of the game on just about all time frames here. Swiss franc dollar, what are we looking at? Weekly, same shit, same chart, still looking at a long-term target of about 114. Daily, same shit, continuation, bullish, looking good. 4 hour, same shit, just flagging out and continuing upwards and onwards. Basically the same chart that we just saw on CAD dollar and short-term time frames. Hidden bullish divergence carrying it out of the 4 hour, plus 4 hour Stokes turn it up as well. I said this one is likely to head up on all time frames here. So there we go. Crazy shit. Euro dollar, long term, we are still looking for about 123.5 to 124.5. However, short term, it looks like it's more or less continuation as well. Yep, indeed. I believe that we were bullish on this one yesterday, looking for a short-term move down, actually to that 121 region, of which we got, so nice one there, and then continuation on top of that. So we're just seeing the fruition of a lot of these moves that we've been kind of planning from. So you're probably, if you're new here, you're probably saying, this fucking crown guy is doing hindsight analysis and he sucks. And maybe I do suck, but I suck a shit ton. But more importantly, I do want to follow up for the people who have been here for a while, and we're just kind of seeing the fruition of like all these formations just in motion right now, basically at the same time. So bullish on all time frames here too. Still looking at a greater target of about 123.5 to 124.5. Probably does gun for the greater target of that at 124.5 to be fair. Pound yen, one of the few ones that was actually doing something maybe potentially different, but no, yes, it is. Okay, so we did. I don't think that I had an upside target here, but I did look at this area at 140.5 as being a bit of a short-term resistance. I'm not sure that I really had a call on this one yesterday. However, I would be looking at this one to pull back actually from here. So short-term, actually a bit of a pullback. Where would be the target? Probably back down towards the 21 at 139.5 or a little bit under there. What about on a daily? Daily is actually still fine to be fair, so shouldn't really be bearish on that. And weekly, fuck, man. If the weekly closes like this coming into Friday, I'm going to look for a move all the way up to 142 and maybe beyond. But at least short term, I would be looking for a short-term pullback. And then depending upon how things close tomorrow, I would be looking for a greater move to the upside over the next couple weeks, if that condition is met, which it's kind of looking like it, to be fair. Pound dollar, I believe we were bullish on this one yesterday, and I'd be still bullish on it. Still looking at a target all the way up towards... It's getting ridiculous, man. Here's the analysis. Everything's up. Everything's fucking up. There you go. Except for maybe pound yen on the short-term time frames. 130 is where we'd be looking towards overall. Daily's continuation. 4 hour is actually 4 hour does probably pull back here. Maybe back down towards 135.5 short-term. But not much of a pullback to be fair. Yen dollar. What do we see over here? 4 hour continuation. One of the more strong ones as well, alongside Swiss franc dollar. So I'd imagine that these ones are going to be benefiting quite a fair bit. And we are seeing the daily take out the last prior high coming in from November of this year. So I do identify this as a nice consolidation at the at a critical level. So this breakout likely is real. Weekly looks pretty damn good as well. Keeping in mind that long term, we actually do still have this measure move over here. Pointed up towards a little bit past the prior highs on August 2016. However, I would be looking at a more short-term target of about 0.9890 region. Extremely short-term time frames. Are we still bullish here? Yeah. Daily, are we still bullish here? Yep. Yeah. Weekly, we still bullish here? Bullish on all fucking time frames. Holy shit. The most uninteresting analysis of all goddamn time. Enjoy it, my friends. Enjoy the green dildo parade. It's not just Bitcoin. It's every fucking thing that trades against US dollar in the goddamn world. So I hope everyone's actually got a smile on their face, because it's kind of hard to... Well, I shouldn't say that. It's kind of hard to do that. But more importantly, just enjoy it, man. Enjoy the green dildos when they come flying at you. Anyways, NASDAQ futures, what are we looking at? New all-time highs. Still looking at a target based off the pattern extension right here, and also the two-spot extension from the prior base, all the way up to about 150-ish region. Short-term time frames, like a 4 hour continuation. New all-time highs, as we said earlier this week. Daily new all-time highs, we said earlier this week. Weekly, all looking good. It's fucking bullish, man. I'm sure if we go over to SPY, it might be lagging a little bit, but it probably follows through as well. NASDAQ is the leader, and it's follow the leader, and Mr. SPY is following the leader right now, actually making new all-time highs. Two-spot extension at 37.50, but that's actually not where the pattern extension does go towards the measure move. That's actually pointed up a little bit further north than that, right around the two-spot 414 at about 38.50-ish region. So this one playing a little bit of catch up, I imagine, as rotational markets set into effect. 4 hours new all-time highs. Daily looking good. It's all continuation, man. It's bullish on all time frames. Jesus fucking Christ. All right, what about gold? Where is my gold? Didn't take a look at gold yesterday because there was more important things to be looking at, but gold's looking like it's probably going to pull through here as well. Did take out last week's high, so I'm going to make a more aggressive call here on gold, but I do think that it's warranted taking out last week's high. But understand that this could flip back around if you do see tomorrow's weekly closure below 1850. I would be looking for another move back down to the prior 1750 or 1760 base. It's not looking like that happens right now. In fact, I do think that this is a time where you probably can get away with being aggressive. Taking out last week's highs, not bearish in any way, shape, or form, especially after getting rejected by the 21. Coming back up there to get a second sell on it is just very unlikely to work out again. So in this case, I'd be looking on the other side, hidden bullish divergence to likely be confirmed tomorrow, and that's going to drive targets short term up to 1950 and long term up to 20,000, or it's not 20,000, 2040 to 2050, the prior all-time high. And we're going to see momentum also turn up at the same time. Weekly Stokes, everything looks good here as well. If we go down to the very short-term time frames, like a 4 hour, good. If we go to a daily, good. If we go to a weekly, we already saw it, good as well. So yeah, everything's going up right now, man. All jokes aside, it's just it's that time of year where Santa Claus is got a big old bag of green dildos, I guess, for everyone. Anyways, Bitcoin. The question is Bitcoin finding a short-term high or not? I really do not like calling potential highs in a market like this, like before they actually happen. Now, do I think the last 4-hour dildo has potential to be a local high here? Yes, I do. We did hit this 2-spot 414, and it sold off incredibly aggressively. But I mean, keep in mind, earlier today, we did say that we had a target up to the 2 spot right here at 22,650. That is only relevant on a daily. So keep in mind where the daily does close. If the daily closes above that level, I would actually look for another run into the upper $23,000 region probably later this week. If Bitcoin does close today below the 2 spot extension, which was again about 12 and a half, or sorry, 12, oh my God, not 12. These numbers are too difficult now. 22,500 about. If we do close today's daily below there, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to play at a sideways range, probably all the way back down to 21,000 base, and range for like maybe a day or two in like a $1,500 or maybe even $2,000 range, which is fucking crazy to begin with. But at the end of the day, man, I don't think that the rally's done in general. I think that Bitcoin will make new highs from this region. And what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to make it very simple, because in these sorts of times, I don't think that there really needs to be anything too crazy done. And going over here and referencing the Trollinger Bands, there is in no way, shape, or form in any way am I looking for a reversal until at the very least we close a daily total below the topside Trollinger Band. I mean, shit, we could even extend that to a fucking 12-hour, and guess what? 12-hour would have to close below about 22,000 in order to close below the topside Trollinger Band on the next closure here. So, you know, is it more likely to make new all-time highs from this region or not? It's more likely to make new all-time highs from this region, but the ranges are massive. So understand that, you know, Bitcoin could potentially trade down another $1,000 from here, or actually even a little bit more than $1,000, like $1,200 from here, and it would still be a continuation phase on the medium and especially the higher term timeframes, like the, well, I mean, I don't even consider the daily a higher term timeframe, but here you go. I mean, that's not stopping anytime soon. Looking at the weekly, obviously this one's just getting going right here. So to me, this is likely going to set in the bias that over the next few weeks, probably even the next couple months, we do see this continue onwards and upwards. I mean, I do really like using the Trollinger Bands for these sorts of trendy moves and breakouts, because it does keep you in the trades when things look pretty damn crazy, which they certainly do. But at the end of the day, is this anything out of the ordinary if we were to just get rid of the numbers on the left-hand side? No. If you just looked at this from a Trollinger Band perspective, I'm sure it wouldn't take a fucking professional to tell you that this is looking good for continuation, sir. You know, and that's just the monthly. I mean, looking at the bi-monthly, which also closes at the end of December, we're going to get our first close above the topside Trollinger Band. Guess what happened the last time that we saw that? That actually was back in 2016 over here, precipitating this next 2,000% run to the upside. Before that, we don't really have any real price action history because it just didn't have enough time. So how much do you trust it on something that new? Maybe not as much, but but you know, the quarterly, same thing here as well. So, you know, everything does look good for continuation over the next few months. 2 new all-time highs. Yes, we can gather some targets based upon that, but realistically, these fib extensions right here, while they do probably get some nice algo pullbacks and whatnot, as they're, you know, likely to be profit taken around them, I don't look at it as like a concrete rule. I just look at it as like short-term volatility, and then I want to see like something more tangible put itself in. I will not call any sort of a even medium-term high until Bitcoin puts in a downtrend on the daily. For reference, when was the last time Bitcoin was in a downtrend on a daily? That was literally all the way back on over here in in February, March of this year during coronavirus dump time. So to put everything into perspective, I'm basically just bullish here. The ranges are fucking massive. I'm sure you're going to see, you know, multi-$1,000 moves on probably even a daily basis, to and fro, you know, up and down. But at the end of the day, I am just more or less bullish, looking for new all-time highs with areas of interest to the upside at currently where we are right now, the 2-spot 272 at 23,500 or about there. The 2-spot 414, our current high on this run, at just under 24,000. We got the 2-spot 618 at 24,500. Then we got the 3-spot right here at 25,750. It's starting to get ridiculous. Then we got then we got basically all these ones right here. Now, I don't really care too much about the 3,272 or the 3,414. The 3,618 is a big one though. The 4-spot is not a big one, and then the 4,236 is a big one. So I'd actually even erase this one and these two right here and run off the other ones. But again, that's not to call call reversals at those regions, just short-term pullbacks. And realistically, I mean, we have seen reactions around these areas on the way up. You know, you see this area right here, a little bit of a pullback. You see this area right here, which we're currently at, and of course our current high on this run. But I want to see daily closures kind of confirm or deny those levels, and then judge next continuation targets essentially. And with that said, happy Green Dildo Thursday to everyone out there in cryptocurrency world. Like I said, we're on Twitch right now, so if you want to join on in, the link's in the description below. Of course, no harm, no foul if you don't want to. It's just, you know, a nice little gaming hangout and talking a little bit of crypto nonsense as well. So with that said, I want to wish you the best. I salute you. Take care, and until next time. Nice one.